Hello, good evening. It's Friday. My name's Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again. This is going to be the first of live shows covering, of course, the Women's Euros, which is starting next week, isn't it, on Wednesday? So not long to wait now until it starts. What we're going to do tonight is we are going to look ahead to the tournament. We're going to preview it, look at all the different groups, look at the games that we're looking forward to, and also, as well, of course, discuss the Arsenal women that are involved and what we can expect from them and stuff like that. And the games that we're looking forward to seeing as well, because all of us on the show are going to different games throughout the competition. So it's going to be good stuff. And we have got a nice new theme tune as well, which is just going to come up now.
There's shin pads, hairbands, rainbow laces, brand new fans and different races. Another camp with COVID cases, an England squad with brand new faces. Here we go, the summer's here. Meet your friends and grab a beer. Football's on, the beautiful game, from St Mary's to Bramall Lane. It's just a game, but it's our beautiful.
So that's our new little theme tune for the Euros. That CD actually is called The Beautiful Game, as you can see there, by Pete Drake and Kay Spink. You can actually win a copy, a signed copy as well, just by predicting the number of goals you think England will score in the group stage of the competition. So you need to subscribe to the channel and put your guess in for how many goals. If you get it right, you could be a lucky winner of that CD. The other tune to that is called Left Foot, Right Foot Header, which will be the theme tune that we play at the end. And that's the other song on that CD. So it's great stuff. Good to support the Lionesses as well. And of course, we've got Andreas with us tonight. How you doing, Andreas? You okay? Enjoying your summer break?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. And I'm really glad that we are back with our show. And I can't wait till the tournament starts. I think it will be fantastic to watch. And yeah, we are all looking forward and are optimistic to bring the women's game one step forward with this tournament.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's going to be crucial, isn't it? Because we've seen how much the women's game's grown in the last few years, particularly in England, the WSL, how strong that's become. And I think the fact that this competition is actually being held in England is a real big opportunity to really push the women's game. And I believe that it's going to really, grab the interest of everybody. I mean, I was at the game, the friendly last Friday against Holland at Ellen Road, and the atmosphere in the stadium was fantastic. People are getting right behind it, getting behind the Lionesses. They seem to be getting behind the tournament as well. So, yeah, I think the excitement's there for everybody. We just can't wait now, can we, for it all to start next week, and hopefully it's going to be a real big festival of football. I mean, it's basically the biggest tournament that's been held here in England since Euro 96, actually. So it's a really big event. It's going to be fantastic, and hopefully it ends up becoming a great advert for women's football. I'm sure it will. Obviously, from your perspective, I know you've got your England shirt on there, which is very cool. But I'm guessing you've got your foot in two camps a little bit, haven't you, throughout the tournament?
Yeah, I have two hearts beating in my breast. So everybody knows I'm German, so of course I'm supporting Germany. But I also support England because in the English team there are 4 Arsenal players, and there are other players from City or Chelsea which I really like. So I'm supporting England as well. And as long as I'm on this show, I'm totally England supporter, and you see, I wear my English shirt. So I will speak about the Lionesses and say we, because I'm here in this show. I'm England supporter.
No, that's great. I mean, we understand that, you've got your allegiances in Germany as well. That's fine. And if England have to play Germany later on in the competition, which is a possibility when you look at the draw, which we will talk about, that might be slightly different occasion for yourself if that happens. But we'll see how the competition goes. I mean, what I want to do first of all is maybe have a look at the different groups. Because there's some interesting groups actually, isn't there? We'll maybe leave the England group maybe till the end. So if we start with actually this group here, which actually does include Germany, of course. Now, for me, this looks like, I suppose, the group of death in a way, with Germany, Spain and Denmark in the same group. One of those 3 is going to go out, obviously, at the group stage. Obviously, Germany, the record holders of the competition 8 times. Spain, who we know what a great side they are. They are ranked, I've got the rankings here actually, they're ranked 7th in the world. Spain, Germany are ranked 5th. So there's 2 of the big ones there. And of course, Denmark, although they're ranked a little bit lower in 15th place, they did of course reach the final last time out, didn't they? So they're going to be a very good side. We know they've got some great players as well from the WSL. And Finland, of course, make up the group. They're 29th ranked in the world. They're obviously the outsiders, but you never know. I mean, obviously, this has got, obviously, your interest in Germany there. What do you make of this group? It's a tough group, isn't it, for Germany, actually?
Yes, everybody says it's the group of death, but it's true, because Spain is, I think, the biggest favorite for the title. And Denmark they were runners up in the last Euro, so you can't say Germany is a record holder with 8 wins, 8 tournaments won. So they are the favorites. No, I think Spain might be the strongest team in this group, and the first match is Germany versus Denmark. This will be a decisive match. If you don't beat Denmark, then it will be very, very difficult, because the next match is against Spain, and Denmark has the big chance to collect 3 points and self-confidence against Finland. But I also say don't underestimate Finland. Scandinavians are always good in tournaments, and of course they might be the weakest of these 4 teams, but they have good players too. But of course Denmark, Pernille Harder, she's always a goal threat, and I saw her playing when she was in Wolfsburg against Bayern. Might be you don't see her for 60 or 70 minutes, but then she has 1 or 2 chances, and with her pace she has, she's always a threat for a goal, and she can always score. So 1 or 2 goals from Pernille Harder, and it will be very difficult to beat Denmark. On the other side, Germany has beaten Switzerland 7-1 last week. So this 7-0. I forgot.
7-0, I think it was 7-0, wasn't it? Yeah.
7-0. Yes. It was a statement, because this was a very strong performance. 3 goals from Clara Bühl. But you also must say Switzerland was without Lia Walti, and she is the heart of the defense. We saw this yesterday. Lia Walti played the first 45 minutes, and Switzerland kept the clean sheet. And when she was substituted, Switzerland conceded 4 goals. It's not only about one player, but she is the heart of the defense, and we know from Arsenal how good she is. So she didn't play against Germany, and the press in Germany was 7 against Switzerland. We are the big favorites, and we will win the Euros. I don't see this. I think the first match against Denmark will be a decisive match. If you lose this, you are out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big game, isn't it? And I say, we know Denmark reached the final, didn't they, last time in Holland? So, you mentioned obviously Pernille Harder. We know how great she is. They've got a very good team, and they're going to be a difficult. I think the first game for every team's quite tough, isn't it? Because you don't want to lose your first game. That's the most important thing, isn't it? And a lot of the guys will be happy with a draw, I think, in the first game, and then something to build on. But I agree, because of the way that your group is, even a draw with Denmark wouldn't necessarily be an amazing result, would it, when you look at how the group could go? But it's difficult to pick a winner of that group, actually, isn't it? Really difficult to pick who might win that group. It's obviously, this is the group that England will face, assuming England get through our group, who we would face in the next round. Obviously, if we win, we face the runners-up. If we come second, we face the winners. So there's an interest there for us from our perspective as well. So it's very difficult for me. I've looked at this a few times. I'm thinking, who can win that group? I think it's going to be really, really tight, and it could come down to goal difference. It could even come down to head-to-heads, couldn't it? Who's going to get through this? Because I can't decide between the 3 of them, actually. And yes, that was a big win for Germany against Switzerland, but it is one game, and that doesn't determine the tournament, does it? And Germany are going to be strong. Spain, as you've mentioned, we know how good they are. We know what great players they've got. And I say I wouldn't write Denmark off either. So it is a really, really tough group, that one. It's probably the hardest one to predict. But we've got someone else to join us. Actually, is of course. Amar, how you doing with his nice haircut as well? Look at that.
It looks terrible. It looks terrible. Good to see you, boys. You all right?
It's a fantastic haircut. It's nice for summer, isn't it?
Cheers, yeah. Why not? I thought I'd get rid of all of it, but there you go.
If we ever get any summer, of course. We've just sort of started talking about Group B, which is obviously Germany, Spain, Denmark, and Finland. Obviously Andreas was saying how important that first game is against Denmark for Germany. I think it's a difficult group to call. I mean, what do you make of this group? The group of death, we've called it. Well, we're not the only ones who've called it that.
Precisely, that's exactly what I was thinking earlier as well. It's so difficult to predict. Finland, Finland were good. There was a time when Finland were quite good, but it's tough to see. It's tough to see them really challenging for the group, but challenging to get out of that group. I think I wouldn't be too disrespectful towards them, but they're the minnows in that group, I would say. The other three is really, really difficult, as you say. I mean, of course, we could forget the last Euros in the Netherlands. Denmark knocked Germany out in the knockout stage, and went all the way to the final. Even I think they led the Netherlands at one stage before they got beat. So yeah, it's really, really difficult to call. But a lot could hinge, as you say, on that game between Germany and Denmark, because I don't see Spain, even without Jenny Hermoso, who's sadly injured. And surprisingly, I read last week, it's actually on her way out of Barcelona going, I think, to, is it Club America or somewhere?
To Mexico.
Yeah, I think so. So even without her, I still think their strength in depth is good enough to get them through. But a lot will hinge on that game between Germany and Denmark.
Yeah, I think it will. And, obviously Spain have got to play Denmark as well. That's going to be another big game, isn't it? And, all the games in that group are going to be pretty difficult to call. And I say it does indirectly affect England, because we will play one of these teams in the quarterfinals, assuming that we get through our group, which we'll talk about a bit later. Andreas, what would your prediction be for the final placings in the group then? I know it's really tough. No doubt you're obviously going to say Germany first, and that's fine. But what would your prediction be for the final standings in that group? Because it is so tough.
It's so difficult to say. But one word to Spain. We all say Spain is the top favorite, and Barcelona. So, it's the Spanish national team. It's not Barcelona. When you see the way Barcelona plays, they have a few players from abroad. There was Lieke Martens, Graham Hansen, Caroline Graham Hansen, Anna Czarnogorcevic, Fridolina Rolfe. They are not playing in the Spanish national team, so we shouldn't overrate them. But what speaks for them is they have their first match against Finland. I think Spain will win. So, as I said, it's also about the self-confidence. Spain will go with self-confidence in the matches against Germany and Denmark. And I think Spain will win the group. Who will be runners-up? I hope Germany. As I said, the first match will decide. If it's a draw, then everything is possible. But then the advantage is on Denmark's side, because they play Finland and Germany plays against Spain. So the pressure for the last match could be enormous to beat Finland with a high result. So it's a very open group, and I say Spain will win, Germany runners up, and Denmark on third, Finland on fourth.
Yeah, it could well be that. And of course, if that was the case, then if England did win their group, it would be Germany that we would face in the quarterfinals, wouldn't it? Which would be very interesting. But we'll see. Amar, what's your sort of prediction for Group B then, in terms of where you think they might be? I know it is such a tough group, this one, to predict.
Oh, really? I don't know. Yeah, it's really tough. But I don't see one thing. I definitely don't see Spain not qualifying. It would be a huge shock if one of the pre-tournament favourites went out. Where they'll finish is anybody's guess. A lot will hinge on the games against Denmark and Germany. But I'd probably just, if anything, because of all the classy players they've got in their side, probably just edge them to win the group ahead of Germany, or probably Germany actually. I think other than Denmark, you see, they've got Pernilla. Other than, and probably Simone, one or two others, but I don't really see. I could be wrong, of course. They go to the final, so it's really, really tough to call. But I'd probably just put Spain and Germany slightly ahead, but not with much confidence whatsoever, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Denmark are maybe quite as good as they were in the last competition, maybe, and they have found themselves in a really difficult group. But yeah, I mean, I think Germany and Spain will qualify. In which order? I guess the game when they meet each other is going to perhaps decide who wins the group and who comes second.
Yeah.
But I do think that will probably be they'll be the two that qualify, and Denmark are just going to miss out, unfortunately. And obviously Finland will probably finish bottom of the group, but you know, I'm sure they'll enjoy the experience of being there as well. You never know; they might cause a shock result somewhere along the line out of the 3 games. You never know. But yeah, I think Germany and Spain will qualify. Personally, I mean, who would we rather play in a quarter? Assuming we win the group, of course. Who would we rather play in a quarterfinal, Germany or Spain? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's going to be a tough game either way. We know our record against Germany isn't fantastic, and we know how good Spain are. So I guess we'll take what we get, I suppose, as long as we go through our group, I suppose. But yeah, I think those two will qualify, and then maybe Denmark, unfortunately, might miss out this time, maybe down to the draw as much as anything else. Terry's with us as well tonight. He says, "Good evening, Richard. Who are the other two? Look a bit rough for this channel, mate. You're probably hard to get guests." Well, we dragged a couple of people in just to help us out. It's tough this time of year. So that's Group B then. So we pretty much think Germany and Spain are going to qualify, which will be good. Why not have a look next then at the group that had a little bit of sort of a late change, didn't it, to the team that was in it? It was such a late change that I didn't even have time to do a graphic with the actual team names. So Group C then, obviously, it's Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland and Portugal, who were a replacement for Russia, of course. So we've got actually Sweden and Netherlands. This is another kind of group of death in a sense. The second and fourth ranked both drawn in the same group. And then obviously Switzerland and Portugal. We saw Switzerland last night against England. They did okay for a while, but you could see that they're lacking. And Germany, as we mentioned before, did beat them 7-0 last week. So Switzerland look a little bit outsiders in that sense. And obviously Portugal are the second lowest ranked team in the tournament now, having sort of sneaked in through the back door. But if you remember in the men's Euros 92, Denmark got a late call up and ended up winning it, didn't they? So let's not write Portugal off quite yet. But it's a tough group for Switzerland and Portugal, isn't it? Netherlands and Sweden, you would imagine, are going to qualify from this group. In which order, again, we don't know. I mean, I actually saw the Netherlands last week against England, and they played well in the first half, looked a really good side, but then they maybe ran out of legs in the second half, and obviously we got on top of them and won quite comfortably. And if I was a Dutch fan at this moment, I'd be slightly concerned by that second half performance. But we know they've got quality, and I'm sure they'll be a lot stronger when the tournament starts. I mean, Andreas, what do you make of this group? And it is mainly between Netherlands and Sweden, isn't it? Probably they are the two strong teams in this group. You'd imagine they'll go through, but there's a lot to look forward to in this group, isn't there?
Yeah, I agree. Portugal, I think, is the biggest outsider in the tournament. So I can't think that they will win a match or at least get a draw. So it will be between Netherlands and Sweden, because Switzerland, the last friendlies against Germany and England showed that they are limited in their quality, and maybe they can beat Portugal and end up third in the group, but the two that will qualify are Netherlands and Sweden. And I think Swedish team might win this group, and most people say Netherlands, the title holders, they will win this group. They will go maybe to the final. Or I see the Swedish team stronger. And I remember last year before the Olympics, in our German talk, we had Tabea Kemme and Alexandra Popp, two German internationals, as guests. They both didn't say anything about Sweden. And close to the end, I said, "And what about Sweden? Nobody says they could win the Olympics." No, I don't think so. We all know it was a penalty shootout in the end, and nearly Sweden won the Olympics. So for me, the Swedish team is one of the favorites, and I think they will win the group. Netherlands, they had a lot of problems in the qualifiers. I think qualifiers for the World Cup next year, and yeah, maybe they are a little bit over their best time.
Yeah.
Let's see. But Lieke Martens was injured for a few months, and she's back now. So maybe this will help. But I would say first Sweden and second Netherlands this group.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first game is Netherlands against Sweden, actually. So that's an interesting game. I'm going to that game next Saturday. That's going to be good. At Bramall Lane. I might be only going for Viv and Stina, if I'm totally honest. But it's going to be a good game of football because two very, very good sides, as we know. I say that the two of the top 4 ranked teams in the world. And I agree with Andreas. I think Sweden are one of the big favourites for this competition. I think we saw in the Olympics how good they are. We know a lot of their players from playing in the WSL. They've got some very good players, haven't they? You know, obviously we've got Stina with us, and you know Chelsea have got 1 or 2, and you can see the quality that they've got. And I would not be surprised if they do have a really good tournament. They are going to be a difficult team to beat, I think. And you know, I wasn't overly impressed with Holland last week. I've got to be honest. You know, they played well, but yeah, you know, I think that I agree. I don't think they're as good as they were. And I think that it may not. I think that their chances of retaining the tournament, to me, they're outsiders. I think out of the more favoured teams. I think so. And yeah, in this group as well. But that first game is going to be crucial. If Holland do win, then they're going to be massive favourites to win that group with the other 2 games they've got to play. So I think that's going to perhaps decide who wins the group. But yeah, I think it'll be Netherlands and Sweden going through. In which order? That first game will probably tell us, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sweden do win the group. Of course, if they do and we win our group, there's a possibility we could play Sweden in the semi-final. Which we'll worry about that later. There are lots of games to go. But yeah, it's going to be a decent game, that first game in the group. I mean, Amar, what do you make of Group C then? I suppose you kind of think probably Holland and Sweden to go through.
Yeah, it's a bit not too dissimilar to Group B, I would say, in which that. Portugal, they've done decently. I mean, they tested us in the last year. They've had some good wins in the past, but I think they're the outsiders. Switzerland have got some good players, as we saw. It was nice to see the Lionesses and Leah and Noel in that photo, which I'm sure you all saw on Twitter. But I don't know. Yeah, see, they've got some good. They've got Cherno Gorchevich as well going forward. They've got a few decent players as well. But I think it's between Netherlands and Sweden. But I would go along with what the crowd, most people are saying, and say I think Sweden will win the group and Netherlands will finish second, because after, as I said, when I watched the Netherlands, especially for our former goalkeeper, she was really especially the way she let in one goal. I think it was from Ella Toon, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think she was not on form, and I know they would fall apart. But Viv did go. Viv came on the bench, and every time you have was such a great player. Viv, and you got Lika and DVD, Jackie Cronin, as we know with all their players. They've got and Linus Berenstein doing another one. So you can never rule them out, but I'd just give the edge to Sweden. They should have won the Olympic gold medal. They didn't, but the form Stina's in and the strength they've got with Magda and a lot of other great players. We know what their pedigree is like at major tournaments. So yeah, I would probably say that they would finish top of Group C for me with the Dutch second.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only group actually with 2 former winners in it. Obviously, Netherlands and Sweden have both won the Euros before. As I say, it's the only group with 2 previous winners. Yeah, I mean, Switzerland, I was fairly disappointed with them overall last night. They defended well at times, but they didn't offer a lot, did they? And as we mentioned before, Leah Walty is so important to their business, as she is for us, as we've seen with games that she missed for us this season, the important games, obviously Wolfsburg, Birmingham and stuff like that, big games that she missed. We saw the difference. So, yeah, I mean, Switzerland will probably be capable of picking up a result against one of those teams, and who knows, But, yeah, I think it'd be a massive surprise if Sweden and Netherlands don't qualify out of this group. And, possibly Sweden may well come out on top, but we'll see. That first game is going to be interesting. Are you going to any games in this group, Amar, or
I'm only going to the games in England's group, just the Norway and the Northern Ireland games.
Okay, I know, Andreas, you're going to 2 Germany games, aren't you? Is that the only games you're going to?
2 Germany games and Belgium versus Iceland.
Oh yeah, that's an academy.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Belgium versus Iceland. Yeah, that'd be good actually.
The next group.
Yeah, that's in the next group. Yeah, we'll get onto that one now. But yeah, so I think we all agree that Sweden and Netherlands will probably qualify from this group, and that should be that. And yeah, Portugal, don't know too much about them actually. They say they got in through the back door in a way, but you never know. There might be the surprise package, who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. So after Group C, then we'll look at Group D, which is an interesting group actually, I think. So France, Italy, Belgium, and Iceland. So yeah, quite an interesting mix of groups. Obviously, France will probably be the favourites. They are the third-ranked team in the world, so they're the highest-ranked team in that group. But Italy are a decent side as well. Belgium on their day can cause problems, and Iceland, as we said before, those sort of Scandinavian-type nations can be quite tricky. And even Iceland, who are the lowest ranked team in that group, where they are ranked at 17th. Actually, no, Belgium actually ranked below them, but they're 19th. But yeah, so what do we make of this group then, Andreas? You sort of thinking France and Italy to qualify, or do you think there could be a surprise? Because Belgium and Iceland aren't bad sides either, are they?
Yeah, this group is France. I think it would be a big surprise if France will not win this group. But when you look at their squad, I was astonished that Amandine Henry and Eugénie Le Sommer are not involved in the squad. So France is doing everything to not win the Euros, I think, because two of the best players of Champions League winner Lyon are not in the squad. But nevertheless, France is the strongest team in this group, and they will win this group. And the second place, I think, will be between Italy and Iceland. Yeah, I see Iceland stronger than most of the experts, because they had some good results in the past in qualifiers, and I think the qualifiers for the last World Cup, they have beaten Germany in Germany, and it was a very tough match. The replay then in Iceland was a very tough match. Germany had to win there, and they did. But this Iceland team is, they are better than most people think, and Bayern Munich has 3 Iceland internationals in their squad, and it's the center back Glódis Vigórsdóttir. She played very, very good season, and the young midfielder Karolina Williamsdóttir, very talented, and she's got a few goals for Iceland in the qualifiers. So I don't think that we can say they have no chance. It will be between Italy and them. I think maybe Italy will be a little bit stronger, more physical, and so I think Italy might be runners-up in this group, but it will be a tough match. Iceland on third, and I don't see any chance for Belgium. I think they are the weakest team in this group.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I saw Belgium, obviously, when they played against England a couple of weeks ago, and, they did okay for a while, but it always looked like being one result there, and they've not done too well in some of the other friendlies that they've played either. So, yeah, I think France, obviously, are going to be massive favourites to win the group. And it's just like you said, who's going to get that second place. I don't think it's quite open between Italy, Belgium, and Iceland, actually. I don't think there's an awful lot to choose between any of them. And it's going to come down to the games they play against each other, isn't it? That's going to perhaps decide how it goes. But, yeah, I would maybe make Italy slight favourites to get that second spot. But, yeah, I mean, you've certainly bigged up Iceland there, so I'm starting to think that maybe they could be better than we think. And they've got a couple of players from the WSL as well, haven't they, in their squad? So, we will know a couple of their players. Was that one from place of West Ham, isn't there? Is it Dagny?
Dagny Brynjarsdóttir, that's right, yeah.
So, yeah, she's a good player. So, but yeah, so they, that Iceland will certainly be in with a chance, I'm sure. Amar, what do you make of Group D then? Who do you think's going to make it through there? Obviously, I'm assuming France will probably win that group.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are really shocked. Like with the it's a little bit like you say with the Germany, Spain, Denmark, and Finland group. But yeah, I have a feeling Italy drew actually in a friendly early today. I was looking, they actually drew with Spain
With
in a
Spain.
friendly. And yeah, they did. Yeah, and put the lead in until Mateus equalised. But yeah, you can never rule them out. I mean, it's funny how the men's team are winning the Euros, and the last two World Cups they haven't even qualified for. So they should be bigging up the women's team and getting behind them a bit more often now, and maybe thinking they could be dark horses for tournaments. But yeah, I think I like the look of Italy. You can never rule them out. They did well at the last World Cup in France. I think they got to the quarterfinals already to be beaten by the Dutch, and so they'll be looking to try and improve on that showing and maybe even go one step better. So yeah, I think France will go down to that France-Italy game to see who tops the group, but I would probably back those two to go through. Yeah, Iceland and Belgium, I don't know too much, but I think it's going to be difficult to see past France and Italy.
Yeah, well, definitely past France. I mean, I was thinking France and Italy, and then suddenly Andreas has made me think perhaps Iceland might have a bit of a chance. So you never know. But that game, maybe Italy against Iceland, could decide maybe that one, won't it? I think that's probably where that's going to come down to. But yeah, I think it'd be a massive surprise if France didn't win that group, certainly to go through, and that would set up an interesting quarter final, wouldn't it? Against either possibly Netherlands or Sweden against France in a quarter final. That'd be a hell of a game. If that's the way that works out. So we'll see what happens there. And obviously, although it's the first group on the list, it's the last group I wanted to look at. Of course, it is the main one that we're concerned about. It is the group that England are in, Group A. So yeah, obviously England, Austria, Norway, and Northern Ireland. I mean, I think it's fair to say we can perhaps dismiss Northern Ireland's chances of qualifying. It's great that they've qualified for the competition, but for them to get out of that group would be a big, massive shock, wouldn't it? Obviously, England are going to be favourites to win the group, but I think who's going to come second, Austria or Norway? It seems to be very difficult for me to choose. Actually, I don't think Norway have got a great history in the Euros. And Austria, of course, reached the semi-final, didn't they, of the last Euros?
Yes, they did.
That was their first time they qualified. They're ranked 21st in the world, actually, Austria, and Norway are. Where are Norway? They're higher up there, aren't they? Norway are. I can't find them on my list now.
Well, he's on the world rankings.
Where are Norway? Norway are 11th. So they're not too far behind us, and we're 8th, obviously. And Northern Ireland are 47th, so they are the weakest ranked, lowest ranked team in the competition. So, so what we make of this then, Andreas? Obviously, England are going to sail through the group, but who's going to come second?
So you already decided that England wins the group. Well,
you've already got your England shirts on, so I said, of course you want England, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm confident. Put it out that we may well win the group, but we'll see.
I hope so that England will win this group. The opening match of a tournament is always very difficult, and we saw this in many tournaments. There is a lot more pressure on the opening match than on every other match. So, and England as the host, there's even with the last results, all clear winnings, decent winnings in these friendlies. Everybody says, no problem, the group. Let's look whom will we meet in the quarterfinal or semifinal. Let's first win the opener against Austria. And never forget, Austria was in the semifinal in the last Euros, and they lost against Denmark only in penalty shootout.
Penalties, that's right, yeah.
So Austria, of course, we have beaten Austria in the World Cup qualifiers.
It was only 1-0 though, wasn't it? It was only
1-0. That's right. It was only 1-0. Yeah.
It was only 1-0. Yeah, and there are a lot of Austrian players we know very well. Manu in goal, Vicky Schneiderbeck in defense. And from Germany, there's Karina Wenninger from Bayern Munich in defense. There's Nicole Biller from Hoffenheim. They have a lot of good players, so it won't be an easy match. But on the other hand, if we play like we did in the second half against Belgium and Netherlands and Switzerland, only the second half. If we play,
that's right.
this the whole match, then England will beat Austria, and the second team that qualifies in this group will be Norway. Norway is, I think,
Definitely agree.
as strong as Sweden. I see them as equal level like Sweden. Just look at the names. There's Guro Reiten, Ingrid Engen, Ada Hegerberg.
CGH, yeah.
Fantastic players. Caroline Graham Hansen from Barcelona.
Breeder as well, yeah.
Yeah, they are with a very strong offensive line, and she's just back for a few months now after more than 2 years out with injury. Before she had this ACL rupture, she was, I think, she was the best striker in Europe, at least.
It's Ada.
Ada Hegerberg, and now
Yeah. Sorry.
coming back better and better, and she was not playing in the Norwegian national team for 4 or 5 years because she was fighting for equal pay, and now she's back in the national team, and this makes the team stronger. And we all know Guro Reiten, very good offensive midfielder.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, I hope England will win the group, and I think Norway will be the runners-up in this group, and we could see Norway for a longer time in this tournament. Austria is not to be underestimated, but I think they will not qualify. They will end up third, and Northern Ireland, well, it's a big success for them to have qualified for the Euros, but I don't think that they will grab any point.
No, I kind of definitely agree with that. I mean, I kind of think you're right in the sense that the first game is always difficult because, especially when you're the hosts, there's a lot of expectation on England anyway, and even more so because of the great results that we've had in the last week or so, which have increased expectation even more. And it's going to be an incredible atmosphere at Old Trafford on Wednesday as well. And it's how England deal with that pressure. You know, it's all very well playing in the friendlies when you can relax and, you know, there's not that pressure. It's going to be massive amount of pressure on England on Wednesday. And Austria we saw in that World Cup qualifier, there wasn't an easy team to play against. You know, we got the win, and I'm sure we'll all take a 1-0 on Wednesday without any problem. But we know it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, you know, we know how well Manu Zinsberg had a brilliant season that she had for us in goal. You know, we know her quality, and I think it's going to be a very difficult start. But having said that, I suppose, you know, Norway, as you mentioned, that would have been probably even tougher to have started the tournament with. So, but yeah, I mean, the first game is going to be crucial. But I agree. I think if we beat Austria, we do get off to the winning start. Then I think the momentum from that will take us through and win the group. The Norway game second is going to be tough because you'd imagine they'll beat Northern Ireland. You'd imagine that they will. And you know, if we maybe don't beat Austria, if it's a draw, we've got the pressure then to beat Norway, haven't we? But I do feel that we will beat Austria and go on and win the group. I'm going to be confident because of how well we've been playing, and I've got 100% faith in Serena as manager as well. I think she's just she knows what it takes to win a home tournament. She knows what it takes to get the best out of the players that she's got, and you can see what a great job she's done. 14 games unbeaten since she took over. Not even a year ago. Fantastic stuff, and I couldn't be more confident. I've never felt, usually whether it's England men or England women going into a tournament, I'm always got doubts in my mind when it comes down to it. When it comes down to the crunch, the knockout games, have they got the right mentality to go through? And previously, obviously, we've seen generally they haven't. We've always fell short one way or the other. But I've never felt this confident about an England team going into a tournament. I've got to be honest. And maybe it's going to come back and bite me on the arse when we don't do as well as I think. But you know, Terry's put a comment in there saying, "I can't see anyone beating England. It's coming home."
Well, don't say it's coming home.
I mean, you're right. Our preparation has been fantastic. You know, and I believe we've got the right manager. We've got the right group of players, and if we're ever going to win a tournament, it's going to be this one. I think this is our best chance to win a tournament. Everything seems to have aligned itself right. You know, we're at home, and I don't know. I'm not going to take it for granted that we'll win, because we've already talked about all these great teams that are in it, and we're going to have to play some of these to get through it if we're going to get through to the final and stuff. So, but I'm really confident that England can do really, really well in this tournament. I'll say if we're ever going to win a tournament, this could well be the one. I'm certainly feeling that. I've been feeling it for a while, but having watched the way we played against Holland, that second half performance against Holland was just wow. I actually came out of that ground. I couldn't believe how well that second half, how well we played. And that's against the Dutch team who are the holders of this competition. And we know the great players that they've got. So, they were missing one or two. Viv wasn't fit, I don't think, particularly in that game. But yeah, I'm confident England will go through. Yes, I think Austria and Norway are going to be fighting it out for that second spot, aren't they? The qualification spot, that game when they meet each other. That's the final game, isn't it, actually? The final game in the group. Austria.
Is it? Oh, okay, yeah.
That could.
Yeah, it is, yeah, that's right.
That's going to decide maybe who goes through there and hopefully joins us in the quarterfinals. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that we should win the group and go through. I mean, Amar, you must be feeling confident about England's chances.
Yeah, they're playing really, really well. And we heard the stat the other day, they're not lost on the Serena. And I think they scored something like 84 goals and conceded just 3 or something.
3, yeah.
They were in a great run. I mean, when you contrast it to what they was under Phil and particularly under Egarisa, it's like almost like chalk and cheese. And really it's hard to see it not top in the group, but it's easy to get overconfident. I just have to take each game at a time. We talk about it, we big them up, and we don't want to overhype them, and then we obviously I don't think this team will let us down, but we've got to take it game by game. And by the way they're playing, I just can't see us not winning the group, and they'll settle it. They may take a little while to settle into the tournament, but I think they'll get progressively better. They'll win the group. As for second, it's going to be tough for Northern Ireland in their debut tournament. They don't want to qualify. They just have to maybe just try to get a point or two, and let's see. They'll be resilient, but it's hard to see them getting through. And as you say, I think it'll come down to that game between Austria and Norway on the final match day. So, but I'll probably just give the edge to Norway with their squad depth. But as you know, you can never take anything for granted. So. But I would probably just give the edge to Norway to finish second in the group.
Yeah, I'm maybe slightly swaying towards that as well. I just feel Austria are going to be very difficult to beat. I think they only conceded 1 goal in the whole of the Euro competition last time out, didn't they? And they only lost on penalties. So, they're going to be difficult to beat and break down. And that's going to be, that could obviously hold them in good stead throughout the group. I mean, if they can get a good result against us, then who knows? That's going to set them up nice, isn't it? But I personally would be surprised if we don't obviously win this group, possibly win all games, if I'm being honest, just the way that we're playing at the moment. What's impressed me actually about watching England under Serena in particular with this group of players is how, how well organised we are without the ball, and how hard we're working without the ball as well. You can see it. I mean, we have a lot of possession, but it's stuff that we do without the ball that's really impressed me, and that's what makes me believe that we're going to be really, really tough to beat when it comes to the knockout games. I think the only thing that could be against us is that extra pressure that we've got from being at home, with our crowds and the expectation, and it's how we deal with that. I personally think we can deal with that. I think Serena will make sure that they do deal with that, but that's the only thing that could go against us, really, because it's difficult to deal with that pressure, isn't it? Especially when you're at home and there is a lot of expectation. And yes, we're bigging them up here and putting maybe more expectation on them. But yeah, I'm really confident that we're going to have a great tournament. Yeah, and, we could be there all the way through, hopefully all the way to the final on the 31st of July. But we'll see. I say a lot of big teams that we'll have to play on the way. Should we get through the group? So it's looking like then, from our predictions then, so from Group A it'll be England and Norway, from Group B it'll be Germany and Spain, from Group C it'll be Netherlands and Sweden, and in Group D, France. I tell you, we'll go France and Iceland then in Group D.
Okay.
We'll go with that then.
Italia.
We'll see. Terry says this is the first time everyone in the squad have got an important role. And more than capable. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing we've seen, haven't we? That the starting 11 is very strong for England, but our bench is very strong as well. And the players that have come on, in these last 3 friendlies, 6 substitutes that have come on have scored in 3 games. I mean, that's incredible. You don't often see that. So many substitutes making an impact. The other thing I like as well is in these 3 friendlies, we've scored 11 goals. We've had 10 different goal scorers. No, 12 goals. We've had 11 different goal scorers.
Yeah, 12 goals. Yeah.
The only player who scored more than once is Beth Mead, who scored 2 against Holland. Other than that, there's been 11 different goal scorers of them 12 goals. I mean, that's incredible in 3 games. The goals are being spread around the whole team. Defenders are scoring. Rachel Daly scored. You know, the
scored,
scoring. All the forwards are scoring.
England,
yeah, all the forwards are scoring. So that gives me a massive amount of confidence that no matter what the situation might be in a game, we've got the players who can make a difference, can come on and make a difference, and the players that are starting can make a difference as well. So, yeah, I think we are going to be very, very difficult to beat. And actually, I don't envy any team that has to play us actually in a tournament, because I think we are going to be really tough opponents. And,
So can I just quickly add something, Richard?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go on.
I was thinking as well. We saw how well the Netherlands embraced it under Serena in the last Euros at home, and I don't see why we can't do the same 5 years on. And we saw how they celebrated wildly with their fans and all the boat party and all the celebrations they want anyway. If this England team were to end a 56-year drought for a major trophy, I think there would be an open-top bus parade or something. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I like you. I would say, I think why can't we just do what the Netherlands did 5 years ago, embrace that and win it? I'm like you. I'm feeling really confident.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling really confident. Yeah, and I say usually whenever it's England going into a tournament, I always got worries in the back of my mind that when it comes down to it, we won't quite manage to do it. But this time, I don't have any of those fears really. No. I'm 100% confident in these group of players, and I'm 100% confident in the manager. And I think that's important as well, because I think previously we've had managers that maybe wasn't able to deal with that pressure that there is being manager of England at a tournament, and especially a home tournament. We've picked the right one, haven't we, for this particular time with this group of players? You can see it, and I think if we're ever going to win a tournament, I think it is this. This is the one. This is our big chance, and it's important that we hopefully can take it. And I'm sure we'll give it a really good go. Terry says there we only need 13 goals to get through.
13 goals to get through. What?
Well, we won't need 13 goals to get through, will we? I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, I actually think our group could be quite tight. Actually, apart from Northern Ireland, I think Austria and Norway are going to be difficult teams to score against. Then certainly we're not going to score 4s and 5s against them, are we? I wouldn't have thought. I'd be amazed if we do. But hopefully we can just do enough to win those games and go through. And then of course we look forward to the knockout stage later on. But yeah, certainly that's the group's kind of sorted out. And let's see if we're right with our predictions about who goes through. There generally is, isn't there, one team that maybe calls a big surprise at tournaments, isn't there?
Yes, there's always one. Yeah.
Expecting. I mean, if obviously if that was going to happen in this tournament, which nation would you put your money on to be maybe outsiders who maybe cause a shock and go through? What are you thinking, Andreas? If you had to pick one of the outsiders to go through, who would you say might be the team that cause a shock?
The outsider team that's coming,
that might get through the group, come second in their group, just out of the blue somewhere, just the shock.
Yeah, I think Sweden is no outsider, so.
No, Sweden aren't outsiders at all.
No, I think Norway could be a team that we will see in the semifinals. Semifinals, because they have a really strong lineup, and as I said, Ada Hegerberg is one of the best strikers in Europe. I saw a few matches from the French league. And I remember Lyon versus Paris Saint-Germain. I think she scored 2 or 3 goals. She's really, really good. And, so Norway could be the surprise team.
I mean, they may well be. Who would be your outsiders then, Amar? Do you think
I mean, we can't really call the teams that we finished first and second two as outsiders, but I suppose if I had to pick one, I mean, I don't. I said about Italy, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Iceland, but I don't know if I really had to. I was probably going really against the grain, but I suppose you could maybe make a case for Portugal, but it's a really small case. It's really difficult. But I suppose if I had to, I'd say probably Portugal, as you've been saying, Iceland. Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in the last Euros, Austria were a bit of a surprise package. Their first tournament, and they got to the semi-final. So maybe it could be them again. That they might cause a surprise again because they did it before. They would certainly be outsiders to do well, and say they were last time. I think it might be somebody else that actually maybe causes the shock this time. I say it was Austria last time. Trying to look through who it might be really. I don't know. I know they're not really an outsider, but I actually it wouldn't totally surprise me if Denmark sneaked through that group and did quite well, because they do have match-winning players in their team and they are in a tough group. And it would be a surprise to a certain degree if they get through. And then once they're in a knockout stage, So I might. I don't think it's likely, but maybe you never know. Yes, someone causes a shock usually, and maybe it might be them this time. We'll see. I'll get Terry's point now. He says the CD's mine. Yeah, Terry yesterday predicted to win in the competition for the CD. He said we'd score 13 goals in the group. So that's his prediction. It's a little bit optimistic in 3 games, but who knows? We've scored 12 goals in our last 3 games, so it's possible, I suppose. But anyway, you never know. We might need 11 against Northern Ireland to get the 13. Imagine if we did that. There we go, mad, wouldn't he? That'd be fun. So yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, if you do want to win a CD, you do need to predict the number of goals England will score in the group. And if you get it right, you might win that fantastic CD, signed CD as well. So that is basically the group stage then all sorted. We know what's happening with that. We know who's going through and everything like that. Now, what I wanted to look at next was obviously there are a lot of WSL players going to be featuring at this tournament across the different nations. Arsenal have got the most actually with 12, and Chelsea have got 12 as well, across all the tournaments. So there's a lot of interest from the Arsenal women across most of the groups actually. I think Group D is the only group without an Arsenal women's player taking part. So we'll forget Group D for the time being, but there's a lot of interest, isn't there, in the Arsenal women's side? We'll say with 12 of our players at the competition. Obviously, we know the England ones as well. I mean, Andreas, what sort of Arsenal connections? Obviously, take out the England ones because obviously we know we're going to look forward to them anyway. Which are the other sort of Arsenal women players playing are you most looking forward to seeing? Which sort of games are you most looking forward to that are involving some of the Arsenal players?
Of course, it's Netherlands versus Sweden. With against Stina, it's a special match for with seniors. Of course, everybody's looking at Viv and I heard this interview with her, and she said also she hates to say this. She hopes that England will have a fantastic tournament. Will maybe will win this tournament because it's important for the country, for the atmosphere, for everything. And then she said, but if we beat England in the knockout stage, I think I have to leave the country.
I think if they win the tournament, they'll win the country. If they win the tournament the second time, they'll leave the country.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've been thinking about this quite a lot. And for me, if England don't win the tournament, and there's obviously a chance that we won't win it. If we don't win it, I do hope that at least one of the Arsenal women do win it with their country, whether it's Viv, whether it's Stina, whoever it might be. I do hope that it isn't a nation without any Arsenal players at all. With that, I'd be a little bit disappointed if that was the case because we've got so many there. It'd be nice for at least one of them to get their hands on it. Obviously, hopefully, it's going to be the 4 in England squad. But yeah, obviously Netherlands, Sweden. That's the reason why I picked that game to get tickets for, because I wanted to see that. 2 of our great players that we've got that we enjoy watching, see them have a shootout against each other. That's going to be really interesting. And it's not just about those 2. I mean, it's 2 great teams with great players all the way through, isn't it? It's just obviously from our perspective, that's the game that stands out. But obviously England, Austria as well. Obviously 2 Austrians in the obviously Arsenal players in the Austrian teams. We said Manu Zinsberger and of course Laura as well. who recently joined us, and of course Andreas's mate Vicky Schneiderbeck as well. Of course, will probably be playing in that game. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, Norway, as we mentioned, England play Norway. There's obviously Frida Marnham likely to play for them. So we look forward to that game. You're going to that one, aren't you, Emma? England against Norway.
Yes, going to England against Norway. Yes, in July. Yes, in fact, it's just in 10 days' time now. Yes, it is. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, that's going to be that'll be a good game now. Actually,
That's Southampton in 2 weeks' time as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, as we saw with Switzerland last night, there's 2 Arsenal players in the Swiss lineup. Obviously, Noel Moritz and Leah Walty. So they'll both be coming up against Viv and Stina as well in the group. There's some interesting games there as well. So I mean, there's a lot of interest, isn't there? You know, from our perspective, looking at the Arsenal women's performances. I mean, obviously, we know how good all our players are, and we know how good Viv is, for example. But Andreas, which Arsenal women's player do you think is going to perhaps have the best tournament? Is going to be the standout performer in the tournament out of all the Arsenal players out there?
According to the performance during the last season, I would say it's Beth Mead. She was just outstanding, and also in the friendlies now when she was playing, she was one of the best, and she scored 2 goals. So I would say it should be Beth, because she's in the best performance of her career now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue too much with that. I mean, what a year she's had for England. She's broken the goal scoring record in one season for England. That's including the men and the women's teams. Just fantastic. She beat Jimmy Greaves' record that game against Netherlands on my birthday, which was nice. So to do it for me then as well, that was brilliant. So yeah, I mean, Beth Mead obviously looks as though she's going to have a great tournament. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think that's pretty much a given. But you know, we've got a lot of players on top of their game from Arsenal that are looking ahead to this tournament, looking forward to performing well. I mean, Emma, which Arsenal women do you think is going to maybe have the best tournament out of all of them that are there?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious to say the main ones there. Yeah, I thought Andreas was wearing Germany shorts. And for a second, I couldn't tell. I just went looking at him, I thought he was wearing German shorts. What's he doing? He's got a lioness top and a Germany shorts there. But no,
that's fine. He can do that. That's fine.
Yeah, no. I didn't say that. I'm sorry. Going back to the point, I don't actually. I'm excited to see what this season. Really had a one season, and what she was really impressive. Scored a few goals as well for us, and contributed well when the going got tough. I think this could be a really breakthrough tournament for Frida. She was really exciting for us last season, so she's definitely one I'm keeping my eyes on, especially when I go and see the England-Norway game in 10 days' time. But I suppose the one I'm really excited about, because the way she really exploded onto the scene for us since joining January, is Black Stenius. She's just, she can't stop scoring at the moment. She scored another one for Sweden the other night. She's just so clinical, so cool and calm and composed in front of goal. And for us to have her and for Sweden to have her is a huge asset. And I think she could. It's tough to know who's going to be up there for Golden Boot, but I wouldn't put it past them to be up there. And like you said, maybe even in the WSL next season, who knows? But yeah, I think those two are the ones I'm keeping my eye on, I would say, along with the likes of Beth and Laura as well, who only just joined in January too. So it's exciting times ahead.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you on Stina. I think she's been a brilliant signing for us. What an impact she's made, and you know, the fact that, you know, she's always, she performed well at the World Cup for Sweden. She always seems to perform well in the big games when it matters. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if, you know, she may well be in the running. You know, Sweden are likely to go well in the tournament, likely to, you know, go quite far into the tournament. So she'll probably get the opportunity to play quite a few games. I wouldn't be surprised if she's battling for the Golden Boot, actually, Stina. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her performances over the next few weeks. Big things I'm expecting from her. Obviously, from the Lionesses, Beth Mead, of course. You know, what can you say? What a fantastic season that she's had. And it would be fantastic for her to round it off, getting player of the tournament or something, wouldn't it, from the Euros as well? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, obviously Leah as well, being captain, could be going up. Join Bobby Moore lifting a trophy for England as captain.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it, to be an Arsenal?
Exactly.
Not only an Arsenal player, but someone that's come through our whole system, an Arsenal fan, leading England to winning only the second tournament we've ever won. That would just be amazing, wouldn't it? And what a fantastic moment that will be to see. If we can see that happen, would be great. I mean, I did say last night in the game that the only previous time an Arsenal player has been captain of England going into a tournament was also a home Euros, Euro 96, of course. Tony Adams was captain of the men's.
Oh, was he? No, yeah.
And we went so close, didn't we, to winning that? Obviously, we'll let Andreas have his moment because they
exactly.
as we know. But we came close, didn't we, with Tony Adams as captain in that tournament. So it'd be nice if Leah can go one better. And get her hands on the trophy. That'd be fantastic. So, but yeah, there's a lot of interest in the tournament from Arsenal's perspective as well, isn't there? So, let's hope that they all have a good tournament. That's what I'm hoping for. They all perform well. We can enjoy watching them, and the others as well. Let's be honest. I mean, there's so many great players from the WSL that are going to be playing in this tournament, and that's the great thing about it, isn't it? Yes, there's great players from elsewhere. There's great players from the German league, from Spain, from France. We know all these great players well, but there's so many players. I'm pretty sure that the WSL's got the most players in the tournament throughout it. It must have. I haven't actually looked at all the numbers, but it must have surely. Obviously most of the England squad, apart from 2 or 3 of WSL start with, so that's like 20 odd, isn't it? So yeah, it's going to be great to see all these players that we see week in, week out in the WSL playing in this tournament at the top level and just enjoying the football. And it is going to be, isn't it, I'm sure, a brilliant advert for women's football. Not just women's football in England, but women's football in general, because it's the very, very top level teams, isn't it? Certainly when we get to the knockout stage, that quarterfinals is looking set to just be amazing, isn't it? The game in that quarterfinals is just incredible. Some of the potential games that we could see is just going to be amazing, and the whole tournament's going to be great, I'm sure. Obviously, we're all going to some games, aren't we? Matt's going to some games as well. I know he's not managed to make it tonight. So Andreas, you're going to, is it Germany, Spain, and Germany, Denmark? Are they the two?
Woohoo! Bring it on.
Yes,
very tasty.
Yeah, two very important matches, and
one's next Friday, isn't it?
Next Friday, Thursday is the opener, and yes.
Oh, okay. No, sorry, I thought it was Friday. My bad.
It's Friday, against Denmark, and then on Tuesday.
Both in Brentford, isn't it? I think both in Brentford.
Yeah, and on Sunday I'm going to Iceland, Belgium. So 3 matches. I would like to stay for the whole 3.5 weeks, but work and so it's only 1 week and 3 matches. But the rest I will see on TV. It will be an exciting tournament. The best teams, the best players are there in such a tournament combined in 3 weeks. So I think we will see fantastic matches.
Yeah, we will. So where's the Belgium Iceland game being played?
In the Academy Stadium.
Oh, right, okay.
That's the one I think they complained about, didn't they? Because of the venue. I think they said that it undermines the value of the tournament or something. So I think it was the Iceland captain who complained about that.
Yes. Iceland, Sarah Gunnarsdottir from Lyon, she complained and said only 7,000.
I actually have some sympathy for her there. I actually sympathize with her there.
Yeah, I heard that many people from Iceland wanted to come over for this match, and they didn't get enough tickets.
Sure.
Let's see. We know how the spectators from Iceland, the atmosphere they create in the stadium with who so
they do great.
All stadiums will be great, and the most important is that England, as the host, is starting well in the tournament. This will special atmosphere and let's have a decent winning like yesterday against Switzerland. So
Yes.
4-0 against Austria, and then the Lionesses will sail on a wave of success.
Yeah.
We saw this in other tournaments. If the hosts win the first match, then everything is possible. And
Yeah. It is. Well, I'm not sure the same could be said of Qatar later in the year, but that's for another day.
maybe they should start playing in the first half, not only in the second half.
Yeah. It's been.
Now, we had 3 matches and no goals scored in the first half in 3 matches.
I thought Chloe Kelly's goal against Belgium.
That was one, wasn't it? There was Lucy Bronze with that cross against Holland. That was in the first half.
I thought Chloe Kelly scored in the first half against Belgium.
No, that was the second half. That was
Oh, was
she
it?
came on at half
Okay.
time. She came on at half time, didn't she, and scored. But yeah, we've only scored 1 goal in the first half of those 3 games. All the rest have been in the second half. But to be fair, I mean, yesterday against Switzerland, we were unlucky not to have scored 3 or 4 in that first half. Some of the chances that we had, you know, obviously Fran Kirby missed an easy chance, didn't she, that the goalkeeper saved.
No, I didn't see the game. I haven't seen the
There was one off the line, the header off the line. So we could have scored 3 or 4 in that first half, actually. We've been unfortunate. But yeah, it's strange, isn't it, how we get our goals in the second half usually. But I guess as long as we get them and we win, it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, I hope on Wednesday, obviously we're at Old Trafford, so I'm hoping that
that'll be a fantastic atmosphere. Yeah,
we can get the goals. And I think maybe the fact that, you know, the expectation there, you know, as you say, Amar, the atmosphere in that game is going to be amazing. And hopefully that might really force them into, you know, we should start that game really strongly, I think, with all that crowd behind them and everything like that. I mean, 70,000 that game would be the biggest ever crowd for an England game in the tournament, won't it? So it'd be fantastic.
It should exceed the crowd for when Manchester United played Everton in the WSL, though, hopefully. So let's see.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be sold out, isn't it? I know a lot of people are selling tickets, but I don't know, hopefully. I mean, how well do we think the other games not involving England are going to fare in terms of crowd? Do we think that there's going to be pretty good crowds for most of the games, or do you think there won't be that big interest? I mean, obviously, you'll have the fans from the nations that are playing, but how many sort of English fans do you think are going to travel to these games? Do you think it's going to be well supported as a tournament, Andreas? Do you think that will be the case, or do you think there could be a few empty sort of seats going around?
Yeah, there could be matches which are not so high attendance. Matches from Portugal, from Belgium. I think the Scandinavian teams, there will be a lot of fans coming over. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, even Iceland. From Germany, there will be many fans coming over for the three matches. But yeah, of course, we saw this. This tournament in January, February, Arnold Clark Cup. The English matches could fill the stadiums, but the attendances in the other matches were not so good. No. So yeah, let's hope the atmosphere will grow throughout the tournament. And once again, it's most important that the English team starts well in this tournament to create this atmosphere and that the whole country grows in this tournament and wants to see it and wants to be in the stadiums.
Definitely.
BBC and ITV are showing matches. Yeah, this will help.
Oh, I thought it was only on the BBC. Well, then I'm wrong. Then. I thought it was only on the BBC.
It is on the telly in England. I don't know who's showing it actually.
I thought it was only BBC's covering it, but I could be wrong.
It might be the BBC. I'm not sure. I know that ITV have been showing the friendlies, haven't they, in the last couple of weeks, which has been good. I mean, do you think there'll be big crowds out some of the games, or do you think we might end up having some sort of empty stadiums, which would be disappointing, wouldn't it, if there was a lot of empty seats going around in some of the games? I know some of the games don't have that same, maybe, the same excitement around them as some of the other games do, but it'd be nice if a decent number of tickets were sold for all of them, really, wouldn't it? Yeah,
I don't know whether how much tickets they've already sold, but I thought I read somewhere it was well over 40,000. But I mean, some of the smaller grounds like Lee and Academy Stadium in Manchester might be difficult to sell out. And I do sympathise with some of the teams having to play there. But I mean, when you look at some of the other grounds being used there, like Brighton and Brentford, the Premier League stadiums, you've got Old Trafford, you've got Bramall Lane, which of course is sold. With the I don't know what the fan base is like with other teams, but I imagine that like Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, Sweden, they've all got all big fan bases. So who knows? Like, they might sell those games out, but it'd be nice to see stadiums being filled, and it remains to be seen whether it will actually happen. But who knows? The Premier League grounds will be more likely to than the non-Premier League grounds. So it remains to be seen ultimately. But it would be really good to see if they can feed off the atmosphere created in the other games involving England, for example. So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the frustration maybe with Iceland having to play in the Manchester City Academy Stadium and stuff, but on the other side of that, if they was to pick Premier League grounds for all the games and only 4,000 fans turn up for some of the games, it's going to be empty and the atmosphere is going to be strange. And, in a way, it's a difficult balance. I think they've done it quite well because, they're using some Premier League grounds, Brentford, Brighton, Southampton. Bramall Lane's a Premier League standard ground, isn't it? In the Premier League last season. And then they've got a couple of WSL grounds, haven't they? Lee Sports Village and the Manchester City Academy. MK Dons, I mean, that's quite a big. I think that can hold 30,000. MK Dons Stadium, so they that's a big capacity there. And I mean, Rotherham again, it's a newish ground, isn't it? And it's a decent stadium. So hopefully everyone will get behind the tournament anyway. And if you haven't got any tickets for games yet, there's still tickets available for a lot of the group games. So get yourself, get some if you can, and get yourself along. It'll be really good. And there's some games down in the south in London. There's some games more in the north as well. So wherever you live, you've got option of some games that are not too far away. Hopefully that you can get to. I mean, we're at Bramall Lane for that Netherlands-Sweden game. I don't know which particular end they stuck us in, whether we're going to be with the Dutch or the Swedish fans. I'm not sure. We're behind the goal anyway, so that could be interesting. So I don't really care which end I'm in, actually, but I'm going to wear my orange England top, so maybe it might be better if I'm in the Holland end, maybe. I might stand out a bit in the Sweden end.
Get a photo with Viv Stenius as well.
Well, I would love to get a photo with Stina Blackstenius, actually, but we'll see.
Viv Stenius. Viv
as well. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I mean, just looking forward to seeing them both play, actually. Against each other. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in that one. That's next Saturday, actually, that game. So that's just over a week away. So
yeah.
And we've also got tickets for the semi-final at Bramall Lane as well, which is the third semi-final, which the first semi-final, which if England win the group and get that far, it will be England playing in that. So I'm rather hoping that they do. So that's another incentive for me to pray that England win the group, because I don't really want to go to a semi-final that's not involving England, if I'm honest. If we're not in it. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we will. But yeah, I mean, it's 5 days away till the start.
Yeah, no,
it's on Wednesday when it all kicks off. And that is going to be amazing, that game at Old Trafford. Really looking forward to that one. And once the tournament's up and running, we'll be doing there'll be a live show every night. So obviously the first night I'm at Old Trafford, so there won't be a show that night. But every other night, apart from the Saturday when Netherlands play Sweden, because I'll be there as well, there's going to be a live show. Hopefully some of you guys can come on from there. I know obviously Andreas is away for the first sort of week or so of the tournament, isn't at the games and stuff like that. So but after that, I hope you can pop on, and obviously Amar, and we'll try and get Matt and Harry on as well. What we're going to do is I'm going to do the show sort of on most days, certainly in the group stage, there's a game at 5 o'clock and a game at 8 o'clock. So I'm thinking about doing a show at 7 o'clock. So after the first game, before the second game, just to look at the game that's just been played, look at the game that's coming up, look how the Arsenal women have done, if any Arsenal women have played or playing, and maybe just do like an hour, 45 minutes in between the two games, just to go through the stuff like that. So that's what the plan is for pretty much every night throughout the tournament. So just a little show to chat about what's going on, keep everyone up to date, and look forward to the games. And obviously, when each of us have been to various different games, we can come on and talk about the game the night before that we went to and what it was like, what the atmosphere was like, all that kind of stuff as well, which would be good. And sort of talk about that. So yeah, it is going to be really good. We're all looking forward to it. Let's hope that it does, as Andreas said at the beginning, let's hope it lives up to the expectations of the tournament as a whole. I'm really sure it will, because there's so many great teams, great players that are going to be there, so many great things to look forward to. And it looks as though, I've seen the signs in all the host cities that's hosting games. They've got the signs up for the Euros, haven't they, with the flags of the nations that's competing there and stuff like that. And that looks really good. So it looks as though There's going to be a lot of stuff going on at the games as well in the area as well and stuff like that. There'll be a load of stuff happening. So hopefully it will be a good experience for everybody that goes to the game, not only in the games itself, but also around the stadiums and stuff like that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be really good. And I'm sure we'll all enjoy that. Terry says, I think if England are flying, more people will hopefully want to be part of it. Yeah, no, exactly. Hopefully people will anyway. You know, we don't get to host many tournaments, do we? Like a whole complete tournament. We hosted a few games at the Euros last year, not that many really. When you look at it, it was all over the place. Whereas, you know, we haven't hosted a tournament completely in England since Euro 96. That was a long time ago. A lot of people won't have experienced that. So I think it's an opportunity for everybody who loves football to really get involved and, you know, get yourself to a game. You know, the tickets are pretty cheap. You know, there's a lot available still for your England games. You're not going to get a ticket for, unfortunately, at the minute. But certainly, a lot of the other group games you should be able to. They're reasonably priced, and get yourself along to a game and enjoy it, experience a football tournament in England, because there might not be another one for another 25 years. Who knows? You know, we don't get to host that many, do we? They don't like us hosting them for some reason, do they? Despite the fact that we've got the best stadiums, we've got the best infrastructure to host tournaments.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing that we haven't hosted more than we have. But anyway, we're hosting this one. We're going to look forward to it and enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be a great tournament, and we look forward to that. So coming up next, then the next thing that we'll do, I'm trying to think now. We probably won't. There won't be a live show. Obviously, I'll be vlogging from the England Austria game. There'll be a vlog of that will go up, and then obviously the Thursday night I'll be on 7 o'clock. Hopefully, one or two people can join me as well. Obviously, that's the Norway Northern Ireland games at 8 o'clock on that night, so we'll do it before that game. We'll look back on the England game, we'll look ahead to the Norway Northern Ireland game, and we'll do that, I say, pretty much every night throughout the tournament. Look at the games and stuff like that. So that's going to be good. So join us all for that. I mean, Andreas, it's great to see you again, looking very suave in your England top as well. Georgia Stanway, 10, very, very nice indeed. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, of course. It's great that the show is back, and Fridays have their sense again.
It's going to be a little bit all over the place, because it's going to be show pretty much every night over the next sort of 3 weeks once the tournament starts.
I'll try to join it when I can.
Yeah, I mean, so what I'll do is, obviously, every night I'll put the link onto the group as always. If anyone wants to join, they can join if you're available. If not, then, you know, I'll wrap it on for 45 minutes, wherever it is, and just talk about that. That's fine.
Don't grab it on. You know, do not grab it on, mate. It's good.
And hopefully, as well, obviously, I know you guys are going to try and get some vlogs done as well, aren't you, from some of the games that you're at?
I'll look at yours, use an example, and try to do it from there. But I just want to add quickly as well. There's actually a UEFA Women's Roadshow, which I'm going to in the afternoon, and they'll have the trophy on show, and there'll be lots of entertainment activities in just near London Bridge. So I'm actually going to get myself in the mood for that and head down there, which will be pretty good. So that's something for me to look forward to tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it will be good, actually. Yeah.
I had it in all the host cities. Actually, I think London's the last one, so I'm going to head down there tomorrow.
Yeah, I know they've been doing. Obviously, we were in Leeds, and although Leeds aren't a host city of the tournament, they did have some. They did have some roadshow on before. Unfortunately, due to the traffic and that, we kind of didn't get to the ground until about 7:15. And there was still a few bits and pieces going on, but most of it had sort of finished because people were going into the stadium and stuff. I was a bit disappointed to miss that, actually. But there was a lot of stuff going on. There was just sort of in the car park in front of the ground. They had a load of stalls and stands and music and activities for the kids and everything. It was brilliant, actually. It's a shame that we missed most of it because the traffic was terrible. We didn't get to the ground until about 7:15. So, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. I'm assuming that actually at the tournament games there's going to be so much more stuff going on. It's going to be. There will be. Yeah, I'm sure there will. It's going to be great. So if you are going to games, try and get there as early as you can to the stadium, because there's going to be loads of stuff to do and loads of stuff to see, and to build up to the atmosphere as well. You know, even not just the England games, all the other games as well that's happening everywhere. You know, so it's going to be really good. We look forward to all that. Yeah, I certainly look forward to seeing your vlogs as well from the games. That's going to be good.
No, it'll be good.
Get the atmosphere. I mean, I would have thought that the Germany-Spain game, Andreas, that's going to be some game, isn't it? Really, that's going to be special. That's going to be a great game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this could be a semi-final, but it's just a group match, and maybe one of the two teams will be knocked out. You don't know. So, two friends of mine will come on Monday just for the Spain-Germany match, and Yeah, they're staying in the same hotel.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
maybe I can make or I can get a short statement from them.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether
Oh,
they
yeah,
want.
yeah. No, that'd be fantastic. Actually, yeah.
Mm.
That'd be really. Are you staying at your usual hotel, are you, Andreas?
Of course, yeah.
Well, you've got your season ticket there, haven't you? They expect you to come, don't they? They look after you well then. That'd be good, won't it? Fantastic. Obviously, Evar as well. Good to see you again with you. I say with your summer haircut, really nice. I thought you'd been in prison.
Yeah.
Your hair had been shaved off. It looks pretty cool. Good to see you again.
Yeah, no. Sorry?
Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, no, yeah. I've enjoyed it. It's always good to be back after nearly 2 months away. Yeah, as Andreas was saying, Friday nights are normal again. It won't be too long before we start talking about the WSL again. But no, I try to get myself involved in the live shows as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, bring on the next one. It's an event I've been looking forward to for so long now. And the excitement is just reached fever pitch in some sense. So no, it should be really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I say going to that friendly last week really kind of made me appreciate how what excitement there is around this tournament. You know, with the crowd, everything like that. It's just brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to all the games. Actually, not just the games that I'm going to and the games that you guys are going to, but all the games with watching them on telly. I'm just going to be spending 3 weeks. It's just going to be a football fest of 3 weeks, isn't it? Just watching game. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not literally going to leave. I'm not going to leave the sofa.
No, who want to leave the sofa? Exactly.
Watching game after game, obviously doing the shows in between and watching the games. That's all we're going to be doing. Working, watching football, and going to sleep. That's it. Which is going to be good. We've got a comment now from Gregory Costello. Says, "Do you think any Lionesses have a chance at the Golden Boot?" That's an interesting question. I mean, yes, potentially they do. But as we mentioned earlier, the England goals seem to be spread out around the whole squad at the minute. You know, so if that's going to happen in a tournament, then maybe the Golden Boot might end up going elsewhere. I mean, Andreas, if you had to think of a Golden Boot winner possible from the Lionesses, who would you say would be favourite for that? Obviously, Beth Mead's been top scorer for England in 2022.
Yeah, this would be fantastic if Beth could win the Golden Boot. But I think it will be between Ada Hegerberg and I don't think Beth will score much goals. She will prefer to play a role like she does at Arsenal. So Ada Hegerberg running harder if Denmark goes through the group stage. Let's see.
I mean,
to win the tournament.
Yeah, usually it's someone who plays in the team that gets at least a semi-final, I suppose. You know, I mean, I suppose the one thing in our favour to a certain degree is the fact that we do play the weakest team in the tournament in Northern Ireland, and the goals that we've been scoring, there's an opportunity for us to score a few goals in that game. And you never know, somebody like Ellen White could easily score 4 in that game, couldn't she? And that would put her in pole position for the Golden Boot. I mean, Beth would score 4 in that game. She scored 4 in games before. Ella Toon scored a lot of goals for England actually. She could get some. I mean, I suppose when you look at it, you've got to possibly say that for England, if she's fit to play, Ellen White's probably going to be England's top scorer, you'd imagine. But look at the impact that Elisa Russo made. I think she was brilliant against Holland when she came on. She was brilliant against Switzerland as well. Got a goal there. Is she good enough to win the Golden Boot? Would that be the way that we'll play? I'm not sure, but I mean, who knows? Gregory says, Beth Mead's my favourite footballer. She's on. I mean, to be honest with you, we all love Beth Mead. She's fantastic. And not only is she a great football player, which she is, but she's just a fantastic person as well, isn't she? You know, she's got time for everyone. You know, she stayed after the Arsenal game. She stayed behind, doesn't she, to the end to speak to everybody. She's fantastic, and she's a great role model as well, isn't she, for women's football? And it would be fantastic if she could win the Golden Boot, actually. But I just think with England, the goals are going to be spread around, maybe more so than I think other nations maybe are going to rely on 1 or 2 players for most of their goals, whereas England have got so many options that I'm not sure if a Lioness will win the Golden Boot, unfortunately. I mean, if they're not going to, then I would like Stina to win it for Sweden.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The tournament, We play Sweden in the final. Stina scores. England wins. Stina wins a golden boot. Leah lifts the trophy. Then happy days all round. Or obviously, if me wins a golden boot, that'd be good. I mean, do you think there's likely that a lioness could win the golden boot? And if so, who do you think it might be?
I think with the array of talent we have going forward, there's every chance. I think we could. You could pick any of them. But if I know that people say Ellen White or Beth, Ella Les. But I think this could be a real breakthrough tournament for Lauren Hemp because she's been playing so well for City.
Yeah.
I like. There's one player they're asking on Facebook the other day. If there's one player could have from another team, who would it be? And the first name that came to my mind was Lauren Hemp.
Yeah.
Because she's so that always plays on the left, so pacey, just does defenders week in week out, and I think this could be a breakthrough tournament for her. So if I had to pick a lioness, I'd probably pick Hempo. But if it was someone else, yes, Viv or. I don't know much about the German strikers, but they always tend to produce when it comes to the major tournaments. So maybe one of them, like I don't know. I know we've said a lot about Jewel Brand. Has she been picked for the squad for the German squad, Andreas?
Yes, of course.
So maybe she could be one to watch as well. So who knows? But if I had to pick a lioness, it'd be Lauren. If I was going to be realistic, I think maybe it could be one of the French or German strikers, or maybe even or Stina. So who knows? But there's so much talent on show. I mean, it could be anybody.
Yeah, no, there is. This is what's so great about the tournament, isn't it? There's great players everywhere. You look, every game there's going to be great players.
Yeah,
and Gregory agrees there. Hemp is unreal. Yeah, I mean, Hemp is incredible, isn't she? What a fantastic player.
She's only 21 as well.
Yeah, I know. I agree. She's one player in the WSL I would love to play for Arsenal. I think she's like the final piece in that attacking jigsaw for us. If we got Lauren Hemp with the other attacking players we've got at Arsenal, we would absolutely steamroll everybody. We wouldn't need to worry about defenders. We would just score. But yeah, no, I do love Lauren Hemp. I think she's amazing. That goal she scored against Holland as well, just a volley. Incredible goal. That was like, it was one of those sort of wow. Like you look at it and you think, wow, what a goal that is! Brilliant from her. I mean, she's just incredible. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think she doesn't score a lot of goals, does she? She scores goals, but she doesn't score a lot. I don't think she's the sort of player that would win a golden boot. You know, if anything, I think that the surprise for England, I think, could be Elisa Russo. You know, I think she's done enough in these last couple of games to warrant starting, and she's such a threat because she's good in the air. She's strong. She makes such great movement off the ball. The runs that she makes is just brilliant. And I think that if she played every game, if she started every game as centre forward for England, she would have a good chance of winning a golden boot, actually. But I just fancy England will spread the goals more around, and it's going to end up being someone from somewhere else that perhaps wins a golden boot. And I'll say I'm hoping maybe Stina might. Perhaps if it can't be a lioness, let Stina. I really love Stina. We do, that's it. And Gregory says there, Germany seemed weak at the Arnold Clark Cup. They didn't have a great Arnold Clark Cup, did they? I mean, we did speak about it at the time. I mean, Andreas, have Germany improved a lot since then? Because obviously they need to have improved if they're going to do well in the tournament, aren't they?
Germany was missing a lot of players in this Arnold Clark Cup, but the matches after that weren't the best, and they lost 2-3 against Serbia, and this is. This shouldn't happen. Martina Voss-Tecklenburg, the manager, said afterwards, we all were weak on this day. Yeah, but you can't lose against Serbia. So if you lose against Serbia, you can lose against Finland. And then you are out in the tournament. So
they
had a lot of problems. Now injured players are back, like Marina Egering and Alexander Popp. And everybody says Germany is always a team that is growing into a tournament. Maybe, the first match against Denmark will be a very difficult one. I don't think that Germany will win the Euros. No. Maybe the quarterfinals, but I don't see Germany in the final.
I mean, Germany, for me, and you know, this is in the men's team and women's team as well. Germany have that tournament mentality, don't they? They do. Regardless of how they've played beforehand, you kind of know that when it comes down to a tournament, they're going to be ready and they're going to be able to pick up results when they need to. And there's always that with Germany. They always seem to do it, don't they? More often than not. And yes, you know, they're maybe not in the best shape they've ever been in, are they, in terms of German teams from the past? But it's a tournament. They're going to be ready. It's in England as well. They've won a tournament in England before, so I'm sure they'll be, they'll be ready for it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I think Germany will do okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're good enough to win it, but I think they're going to be competitive. They're going to be a difficult team to play against. And when they get to the knockout stages, you would fancy their chances against most teams in a one-off game, wouldn't you? Really, with the mentality that Germany have and the play that they've got. So, I wouldn't write them off. But
no, you could never write them off.
They do have that tournament mentality, don't they, Germany?
They do.
I would.
You shoot out, and Germany is always.
Yeah.
We don't want a penalty shootout against Germany. We definitely don't want another penalty shootout against Germany.
If it comes to penalties, I'm hiding behind the sofa.
Yeah, England could meet Germany in the quarterfinals, and if that went into a penalty shootout, I don't think I could watch. Actually, that would be agony, wouldn't it? But anyway, we'll see. Obviously, how it all works out. But yeah, I mean, Germany will. They'll be as good as they can possibly be, and if that's good enough to get through to the final, it will be. If it's not quite, then. But I'll certainly expect them to be competitive as always. And if we have to play Germany, I would know it's going to be a difficult game, and it'll be a game that if we win, we'll have to play well to win. We know that we had to play well in the Arnold Clark Cup to beat Germany, didn't we? Late goals, it took, didn't it? Those 2 late goals that won us that game, and that could have gone either way. Before that, so yeah, we know what Germany do in tournaments, so we can't, we're definitely not going to write them off, certainly not. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great teams, isn't there? This is what's exciting about it, isn't it? As much as I'm confident England can do well, England could potentially win it. There is so many great teams that we're going to be able to watch over the next few weeks. It's just going to be a brilliant few weeks, isn't it? We're all going to enjoy it, I'm sure, and we'll enjoy it even more if England do well, which I'm sure they will. So, yes, that was a nice little preview there. It gets us in the mood. I'm excited for it now. I can't wait for Wednesday. Really, really looking forward to it all starting. And I'm looking forward to obviously speaking to you guys as well and seeing your vlogs and stuff from the game. It's just going to be great. I'm looking forward to it all. It's going to be really good stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be good. So I say we'll be back live on Thursday at 7:00 for the first of our kind of nightly shows. I'll put the vlog out of the Austria game at some point on Thursday as well. I'll throw that together at some point in between work, and I might do it at lunchtime, try and get something out for that. And obviously we'll be live on Thursday at 7:00 where we'll look back at the England game and the Norway Northern Ireland game. Gregory says they're slightly off topic. Do you think Arsenal would have a chance at Champions League if they recruited him? To be honest, if we recruited him, I think we could win everything. I think we'd be unbeatable. I think she is. I just think we've got on that left-hand side. Yes, Katie McCabe's brilliant when she plays there. Caitlin Ford had a brilliant finish to the season, but Lauren Hemp would lift us to a different level. We've got. We've got Viv dropping deeper now. Stina as the sort of target up front. We've got Beth on the right. Having Lauren Hemp on the left, that would take us to a different level. I think we maybe need another defender as well, perhaps a real quality defender to come in as well. But yeah, if we got Lauren Hemp, I'd be confident that we wouldn't lose a game.
And also another thing I thought I'd add as well. I know we're not recruiting, but I think Jonas is just being clever. He's waiting until after the Euros to see who's available. But he's actually going to. They invited him. I think at the end of the West Ham game, at the end of last season, said, "Oh, would you come and do some punditry work for us?" And I think he's actually going to be the part of the punditry team. So that's something to look out for as well. No,
well, actually, yeah, he's a funny guy, actually, Jonas. I do like him.
He's a great character.
Yeah, he is a great character. Yeah, I really do like him. So if he is doing punditry, that'd be good. I look forward to listening to that, actually, because he is a great guy. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of activity at the moment to a degree. But last season, we bought most of our players in July, didn't we? And this July is going to be different because the Euros is on. So I think when the Euros is finished, I think we'll add 1 or 2, 3 to the squad, hopefully, for the new season. Gregory says there, so do I. We'd win everything. Yeah, I think we would. Lauren Hemp she's to me, she is the missing link in that team. Or somebody like her on the left-hand side who's that top quality that can produce what she produces. That would be good. I mean, Andreas, what do you think we'd have a chance in the Champions League if we signed Lauren Hemp? I know we won't sign her, but if we did.
Unfortunately, we won't get her. I think we need a midfielder who's playing a little bit more the physical midfielder. We have good. mix with Kim and Leah, but we need someone like we saw from Wolfsburg, Oberdorf or Erin Cuthbert from Chelsea. She would be one. Yeah, I know you don't like her, but she's.
No, I don't like her. I know, but that's totally that.
Yeah, no, she's a nuisance when she plays, isn't she? She's a nuisance.
That's maybe she's the one of the most important puzzles in the Chelsea team. Someone like Erin Cuthbert or Lena Oberdorf or maybe Georgia Stanway, who is going to Bayern Munich. Such players with more physicality. Of course, Lauren Hemp would be fantastic for attacking. But this for the next 1 or 2 years, it's a dream. I don't think she will leave City.
She's never going to leave.
No, I don't. I don't. Which is a shame. Which is a shame.
She's 21. You never know. Maybe in 3 or 4 years she will wear an Arsenal shirt.
Maybe I'd like to see her play for Arsenal because I do think she's an incredible player, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I mean, you say about midfield. I do think midfield's an area that we need to strengthen. But actually, when you look at it, Leah Williamson could go into midfield, couldn't she?
Yes.
And then if Rafaela Souza's fit, you could have, I still would like us to buy another defender, but we could have Rafaela Souza and Lotte Wubben-Moy, and then Leah Williamson playing in midfield because she's got that calmness on the ball. Yeah, she's not an overly physical player, although she can win the ball. And because she's used to playing in defence as well, and we've seen what she does for England in midfield. So I actually don't think that would be a bad option to have her in midfield, because we were short last season, wasn't we? We saw that when Leah Walty was out. We didn't really have someone who could come in and do the job. Jonas didn't think of maybe putting Leah Williamson there. He was probably worried at the back because when she was out injured, we saw how leaky we were at the back for a while. So there was that side. But I think if Souza's fit and we buy another defender, I think Leah Williamson could see her future Arsenal in midfield as well. I think she could do a job there actually, and maybe that could be what we need there. And so Lauren Hemp on the left, Leah Williamson in midfield. I'll tell you what, let's buy Millie Bright, play her in defence. Millie Bright and there you go. Leah Williamson in midfield, Lauren Hemp on the left. Then we win the Champions League, we win the FA Cup, we win the WSL, we win the Super Cup, we win the Friendlies, we win the Euros, we win the World Cup, we win everything. That's the way forward for Arsenal, but it's never going to happen. It's just a dream, isn't it?
Well, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, you never.
I would definitely buy Millie Bright though. I think she's not a great footballer, but she's a brilliant defender, isn't she? She just defends. That's what you want from a defender.
Yeah,
she's
no nonsense. Yeah.
And she doesn't think twice about pushing people out of the way. She'll just get there and win the ball. So I like Millie Bright actually. So I wouldn't mind someone like her maybe. There, heavy trading after the Euros. Hemp is McCabe on overdrive. Yeah, she certainly is. She's just Lauren Hemp is just an unreal player. Absolutely unreal. She just gets the ball and just runs at people, and no one can get the ball off her. And then her delivery into the box usually is spot on as well, isn't it? She doesn't often put a bad ball in. Gregory says, I'm going to try and watch some Munich games because of Stanway. Yeah, I mean, Georgia Stanway is a great player as well. And it's a shame that she's left the WSL, isn't it? But anyway, I'm sure she'll be a success. I mean, obviously, Andreas is going to be excited to see her play, I'm sure, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think she's the right player for Bayern Munich. Because Bayern also was lacking some physical players, and I'm very, very optimistic that she will fit in very good in the German Bundesliga and in the Bayern Munich team.
I'm sure she will. It's just strange, isn't it? Man City, obviously Lucy Bronze has gone. Georgia Stanway's gone. Is Lauren Hemp the next one to go? Is she the next one to go?
I think she signed a new contract extension, didn't she? But you look at the players they've lost. They've lost Weir, they've lost Stanway, they've lost Bronze, they've lost Jill Scott, Janine Becky. But they've already been recruitment. I was impressed with the recruitment so far. That they've signed Mary Fowler the other day, who looks like a very promising player from I don't know where they signed her from, but Montpellier. That was in Montpellier. They signed her from Montpellier, and she was good for them in the Olympics last year. And I don't know about the Barcelona defenders, but the Barcelona are keen to let them go and get bronze in. And they've also signed Dana Castellanos, who's a promising player as well. So I mean, it remains to see how well they do as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think as Gregory said, I think it will be a lot of players moving after the Euros has finished. It's going to be busy, I think, in August because obviously the season doesn't start till September, so there's a bit longer. Obviously, the Premier League season starts straight after the Euros, doesn't it? So, but the WSL season doesn't start till September, so there's plenty of time to get players in, and I'm sure we will. And I'm looking forward to seeing who we do get actually, and who comes in. Gregory says a lot of players moved to either get more minutes playing and or position they want. Yeah, I think so, and possibly more money to a certain degree as well. I mean, I don't know what the contract situation is. Obviously at Bayern, Man City, and Stanway, I'm not sure. And I suppose Lucy Bronze has gone to Barcelona to try and win the Champions League as well. I suppose
Caroline Weir's gone to Real Madrid.
Yeah, so there's that as well in there to try and win the Champions League, and obviously the English teams haven't got a great record, have we, in the Champions League overall? So maybe some of these girls looking to think, what, if I want to win the Champions League, I mean, Viv was almost had her head turned, didn't she, by Barcelona for that very reason in the summer. So we could see the appeal for them to move to some of these clubs, for maybe that reason as well. I think there's lots of reasons why players move. But luckily, Viv hasn't moved, so that's one good news for us so far. Let's hope we have more good news in throughout the rest of the time. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll bring it. We need to, don't we? We can't. Having finished second last year, been so close, we've got to build on that, haven't we? We've got to improve the squad. We've lost one or two. Yeah. We need to, and I'm sure we will. It's just who's it going to be? When are we going to get them? And Lauren Hemp, throw everything at Lauren Hemp, offer her whatever we need to offer. Just I'll drive her to London. I'm not bothered. I'll go and pick her up, drive her down. Not a problem. I'll be quite happy to do that. Just if we sign her, wherever she wants,
pay her the same wages as Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, really about the same. That's why they haven't revealed Jesus yet, because they're waiting for us to sign Lauren Hemp and do them at the same time. Like they did when Jonas and Mikel Arteta both signed their contracts on the same day, didn't they? They announced it together. This is what they're waiting for with Gabriel Jesus. They're waiting for us to sort Lauren Hemp's deal out, and then they'll announce both of them together, probably after the Euros is finished, or maybe this week before it starts. Maybe they'll just quickly sneak it in and say, "Come on, sign there," and away we go. That would be good, wouldn't it? Gregory says there, Viv.
No.
I don't know about that. That'll be a tough one, wouldn't it? Would we trade Viv for Lauren Hemp? I think Gregory doesn't mean it though. I mean, I don't. If Man City came with that, I mean, I don't know. We'd certainly think about it for a couple of seconds, wouldn't we? I suppose, and then say no. You can have. Who would we swap? Who would we swap for Lauren Hemp in our squad?
Oh, I have no idea, mate. I don't know. They're all so good players. I don't think I'll swap any. Even Manda, when she comes back, she'll be back and wanting to do well. I can't see who should come in for. I really don't.
I don't know.
I'll
tell you what. We'll give them Simone Boy for Lauren Hemp. How does that sound? That sounds like a good deal.
No. Give them Jen or somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all down, man. That's fine.
But no, I mean, Lauren Hemp.
We've got Caitlin, we've got Stina, we've got Viv, we've got Kim, we've got Jordan, we've got Leah, we've got. We've
got so many great players. It is true, but we do need one or two more as well. I think to really
the number one. Steph likes to go forward as well. Frida.
Yeah, no, we've got a great squad of players. We know that, but I think if we want to really push on next season and obviously win the WSL, which is the next step, and do better in the Champions League, which is the next step from there as well, then I do think we need players of Lauren Hemp's quality to come in. If it's not her, it needs to be somebody of that kind of level. That can come in and do the sort of stuff that she can do. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to be interesting, the transfer window, but I'm sure most of that is going to happen, as we said, after the Euros is finished, because obviously everyone's busy in the tournament, aren't they? And all the better players are going to be hopefully going a long way in the tournament. They're going to be busy for the next 2 or 3 weeks, aren't they? Playing football. So that's probably what's going to happen there. But just before we go, of course, don't forget there is this fantastic CD, which there you go. It's signed, as you can see there. It is signed by Pete Drake and Kay Spink, who do perform the songs.
Oh, lovely.
So you've got The Beautiful Game, which was the song that was on the introduction, and the other song is called A Left Foot, Right Foot Header, which is actually really catchy. and is probably my favourite of the two, although it's difficult to pick one if I had to, but just because it's a lot more catchy. I've been singing it in my head constantly for the last week since I got the CD. So that's what you can win. You just need to predict. You need to subscribe to the channel first, and then predict the number of goals you think England will score in the group stage. So that's the games against Austria, Norway, and Northern Ireland. How many goals in total do you think England will score? Put your prediction either in the comments on one of the shows that we're doing, or stick it in the channel, stick it on our Twitter, which is @Over&Arsenal. And then once the group stage is finished, if only one person got the right answer, you win the CD. If there's more than one right answer, we'll do a little draw. Terry says hemp for Arteta. Pretty much for anyone for Arteta. It wouldn't even have to be.
Oh, come on, he's doing all right.
Pretty much anybody, to be honest. But anyway, let's see what happens. He did okay, I suppose, to a certain degree, but we should have come fourth. But that's for another show for another time. But yeah, let's not get into Arteta really, because there's too many other exciting things going on. So yes, that's a CD then. So if you do want to win that, that's what you need to do. And Terry's put his prediction of 13 goals. So that's the benchmark to look at. It's only 3 games, Terry. Do remember that. We're only looking at not the whole tournament, the group stage. Because obviously what I want you to be able to get this CD so you can play it for the rest of the tournament. You see, if I leave it to the end, then the tournament's over and the CD won't be so important, would it? So, but it is only the first 3 games of the tournament for England. So that's all it is. So subscribe to the channel, put your prediction in for the 3 games, the goals that England will score. And you never know, you might win a fantastic CD, which is really good. So we will play out with the left foot, right foot header song, which is absolutely fantastic. And I say I can't stop singing it. So this has been over and over and over again the Euros preview show. We're back on Thursday live, loads of vlogs going on, loads of live shows. We'll be joined, sporadically by Andreas, by Amar, by Harry, by Matt. Everybody's going to be joining in. Hopefully some new guys, or Samantha maybe coming on, one or two other people as well. So this is all coming up over the next 3 weeks. We'll be back live on Thursday. Thank you to all you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Gregory says there's 13 in the group stage. That's a lot. It is a lot. But Terry tends to predict that we'll win 8-0 every week anyway, so it's not unusual.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
ridiculous amounts of goals. But I say we played Northern Ireland, and who knows? We could score 6 or 7 against them, couldn't we?
Yeah,
essentially, we could score 5 against them recently, didn't we?
Terry thought that it's only for one goal, for one game. So he said 13 goals in one game.
Yeah, well, we scored 20 in one game, didn't we? Not that long ago. So who knows? We could maybe score 30.
That was against them. Yeah,
no, I mean, I don't think we'll score as many as 13 in this group. I think this group's going to be quite tight. Certainly 2 of the games are going to be quite tight, and who knows. But I think 13 is a bit optimistic, but Terry's optimistic, and we love him for that. But yeah,
we do.
Perhaps a little bit over the top, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You never know. He was nearly right against Aston Villa. I think he said 6-0 against Aston Villa. It was 7-0. So he was actually he undercooked that one, which is unusual because normally he says 5-0 every week when we win 1-0. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it all kicks off on Wednesday, of course. Wednesday night, England against Austria to start this fantastic summer of football in England as well. It's going to be great. Please get behind the tournament. Get behind the Lionesses. Get behind the whole tournament. You go and watch a game. Go and buy a ticket. They're like £10 or something like that. Some of the games. Just go and buy a ticket. Go to a game. You'll enjoy it. The atmosphere is brilliant, and it's great football. And you'll be able to say in years to come, I was there at the tournament when England won the Euros. I went to a game. That's all you. Yeah. So Terry says there may need to go high after the first 2 games. Yeah, well, we may do, but I still think 13 is a little bit optimistic. But anyway, it's your guess, so that's fine. You can guess whatever you like, and anybody's welcome to put your guess in and see if you want to win this CD. You will enjoy the CD actually because it's great. There's loads of remixes of the songs on there as well, so it's good for money, especially when you're going to win it for free. Actually, I'm trying to think how many remixes. I'll tell you, you've got 1, 2. You've got 2 remixes of The Beautiful Game, and you've got 3 remixes of Left Foot, Right Foot Header. You've got the Paris mix, the Daily mix, and the Hemp mix. And you've got the Bronze and the Meadow mix of The Beautiful Game. That's all on this CD. It's there, as you can see. Look at that. Fantastic stuff. That's what you're going to win if you guess the right amount of goals. So, yes, that's Pete Drake. You can actually download that from Pete Drake Music. The link's in the description to the video as well. So if you want to go and buy it as well, even better. And get this song played on the radio because it's so catchy. I love it. It's really good. It's coming up now. It's Left Foot, Right Foot Header from Pete Drake. It's fantastic. We will see you on Thursday live. Thank you very much to Andreas. Thank you very much to Amar. Thank you to all you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. and put your guess in for the number of goals to win this fantastic CD from Pete Drake. The link is in the description. If you want to download it, you can. You won't regret it either because it's fantastic. This has been over and over and over again the Euros preview show. We will see you live on Thursday. Don't forget Wednesday night, England Austria. Do not miss that game. It's going to be great. See you later, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah. Bye.
Left foot, right foot, header. Left foot, right foot, head. I'm supporting England 'cause it's left foot, right foot, head. We'll be alright with Ellen White. Take the lead with Beth Mead. Williamson gets the job done and Lauren Hemp is heaven sent. Here the Lionesses roar.